YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back on day 2 of the unofficial NFL free agency period, and we covered all the signings yesterday and all the trades on both of our channels. And now today, looking to cover a lot more of that. In this video, though, kind of want to break down the quarterback madness, quarterback situation. Some things just happened, actually, with a specific quarterback. We'll talk about that. But want to go over the rumors and kind of which quarterbacks are linked to which teams, and then which quarterback I think each team should sign if I were them, or who they should link themselves to, and then actually the final prediction where what I actually think will happen for each of these teams quarterback wise. So we got plenty more videos on the channel, plenty more to come. And then our second channel actually has the trade grades for those three you see up top and the Stephon Diggs trade. We break it down, grade it. So click that link down below, subscribe to our new channel, and check out those videos. And then please subscribe to both channels. Full NFL content. Can't wait for the rest of free agency and the NFL draft to cover it. And you're going to want to follow that Twitter. Link down below. It's a must follow. Breaking news. Instantly reacting to the breaking news. Always talking football, answering questions. It's a must follow there. And then you'll find a link for our new podcast down below. 4 episodes out, Apple and Spotify. I had the Panthers getting Teddy Bridgewater, was ready to record this video, and then Teddy Bridgewater signs with the Carolina Panthers. Love the fit there. We'll talk about that in the signing grade video coming in the near future. But we'll start with the Buccaneers. They're linked to Tom Brady. Still got to be linked to Jameis Winston. And Cam, they technically haven't been linked to Cam Newton, but you would think, that's a good fit with Bruce Arians, but that kind of brings up, will the Panthers trade him in division? I really think they're just trying to dump him at this point, save the cap, and they're bringing in Teddy Bridgewater. They spent the money there. It would make sense, but I think it's unlikely, but they could become linked to Cam Newton, who I would sign. I would sign Brady. It's actually tough because I actually do believe in Winston. I'm not a big Winston supporter. You can't just throw 30 interceptions a year. Well, this past year, and you can't be a huge supporter of him, but I think he'll cut it down. And he still has upside to me. So for long term, Winston, but it's still hard to pass up on a guy like Tom Brady. I like the rest of this team. They have the receiver unit. Could touch up the offensive line a bit. The defense is just getting better because it's a young defense. Just switched to a 3-4 last year. They got both their pass rushers back. I love that. Somewhat cheap too. Compared to what I thought it was going to be. It's a very good defense. It went from a bottom 5 defense, maybe to start last year, to it's going to be a very good defense going forward. So it's a good team for Tom Brady to go to, and it's a good quarterback for the Buccaneers to get. So that's who I would sign, and I'm predicting it to happen. It is tough to predict. It feels like the Bucs or maybe the Chargers right now, but there is another team out there that I think could be very sneaky. I think Brady's waiting for something specific to happen possibly, so there could be another team out there. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I'm predicting Brady to the Bucs. The Colts linked to Phillip Rivers and possible Nick Foles trade, I've heard, which may be tough to happen because the Jaguars would have to trade him in division. But I think, if they want to dump that contract, they can make it work. I think it's a great fit with the Colts. I still believe in Foles. I believe in them, his run with the Eagles. To me, that's not a fluke. Is he going to go on another Super Bowl run, win the Super Bowl MVP? I'm not saying that. But I think with this Colts team, familiar with the system, some coaches, Frank Reich being one of them, and in the offensive line, they need some more weapons, but having the offensive line set in place, I would really like Nick Foles to the Colts. I would prefer Foles over Rivers. Really, I guess it depends on the compensation, like what you would have to trade. I don't think it would be anything ridiculous. I guess that's tough to tell. They do have 2 seconds. I don't know if I would trade a second, but, possibly a third plus. But I would prefer Foles over Rivers. I think they have more success with Foles over Rivers. But I'm predicting, and it's starting to heat up as I'm recording this video, that it's really close to happening. So pretty easy prediction at this point. It's a cheap one for me here, but I did have Rivers going to the Colts for quite some time now. So that's what I think is going to happen here. Colts going Phillip Rivers, which is okay. I prefer Foles, but having to trade for Foles makes it kind of tight. But we'll see how Rivers is. At least he has the offensive line that he did not have with the Chargers. They need some more weapons, though. He doesn't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams out there, so that's what they'll have to fix. So the Chargers, And everything changes. Everything changes if they get Brady, obviously. So this completely flips. But they're linked to Brady. They're trying to go for him. You think they would have been in on Teddy Bridgewater, but he signed. So Brady kind of just messing the whole thing up for teams. So Bridgewater signs with the Panthers. You would think they could be interested in Cam. Trading for him, I think that'd be a pretty good fit. I think they would be a pretty good team with Cam as long as he was healthy. So if they miss on Brady, that could happen. Who would I sign? Of course, Tom Brady. I think the rest of this team is pretty damn good. They need to touch up the offensive line for sure. But other than that, I like the defense. I like the weapons. I like Eckler. So just fix the offensive line in the draft, and that's a contending team. Prediction, though, I had Brady going to the Bucks. Very well could go to the Chargers. I think it's most likely draft. I kind of threw Cam in there because if they're kind of left with nothing, it could be a trade for Cam or Nick Foles on top of drafting a Herbert or a Jordan Love, Justin Herbert or Jordan Love, which I'll have at a post-free agency updated mock draft, so we'll see who I actually have them getting. But they could do one, just draft, or they can do that along with. I think they'd be more interested in Cam over Foles. I think. So I would look out for the Cam trade as well. It's tough to say. If they hit on Brady, it changes everything. The Bears, very interesting team, who actually just before recording this, they signed Robert Quinn. And so that's a bit of a cap hit. It's a move they needed to make. It was a good move. But that's a bit of a cap hit along with Jimmy Graham. They've been linked to Foles and Dalton, and since they've been interested in possibly trading for them, you would have to think they would be interested in trading for Cam Newton. I think he's a better fit, maybe. I think better fit than Dalton possibly, and I think he's just the best option for the Bears. Foles could be pretty solid as well. So the problem, can they afford those guys after? They're going to be below $10 million in cap space for this year, so they may need a restructure to be involved. Who would I sign? I've said it before. I'll say it again. I would like Jameis Winston for the Bears. He needs to go to a good defensive team, and I think he'll improve. I like him in Nagy's system as well, but that's what the Bears are missing. They just couldn't put up points. They're missing that big playability. Jameis Winston brings that to you. Yeah, he'll turn the ball over. He's not going to turn the ball over 30 times this year, but the Bears defense, a top-tier defense, can help him out there, but he gives them that big playability. They're going to put up points. The Bucs turn the ball over, but they put up points. And if the Bears put up points last year, they were worst case in the playoffs. That's worst case. So I like Jameis Winston for the Bears. Unlikely to happen though, limited cap, but I'd say it's still a possibility. If Brady goes to the Bucs, Winston's left with the rest. Who would like Winston? Who wants that? Who thinks he fits their team? I think it's pretty limited, so that can make the market, the value go down. The Bears could potentially get him cheaper, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal. Hopefully, in that case, the Quinn Graham contracts are backloaded, mainly the Quinn one, which is very possible. So I do think Winston's a possibility. I just haven't heard anything on it. It just makes a ton of sense to me. Prediction, originally had Cam Newton here. Graphics were made, had Cam Newton. They traded for Robert Quinn. Cam's going to have around a $19 million cap hit. So it's still possible. They can still make some more moves. They cleared space with Floyd, but yeah, they're bringing in the cap hit of the couple other guys they signed. So I think it's less likely. They can still make it happen. But I end up going with Dalton. It would have to be a trade. I think a restructure. I think that's the only player that would restructure. Foles would want to keep his current deal, and Cam Newton wouldn't. I don't think would restructure. He'd want to keep his current deal. So that would have to be the Bears' route. I would not like that. I don't think anybody should be trading for Andy Dalton. But I think there's some familiar faces. The Bears' offensive coordinator they grabbed from the Bengals, Lazar. So they could. I'm pretty sure he's probably maybe not pounding the table for him, but I'm pretty sure. He would be interested, so that could make something like this happen. It's still hard to see a Dalton trade, honestly, because I think he'll eventually be cut by the Bengals. It better be very, very little, and I'm still really not going to like it, but that's kind of my prediction at this point. It was about to be Cam Newton. Even though I liked the Robert Quinn signing for the Bears, that made them better, it kind of limited them from doing that. So, it could be a Dalton signing. The Bengals could eventually cut Dalton. It could be a signing. It just depends on if they fear another team's going to trade for him, the Bears that is. So interesting to see there what they do. And then to the Patriots, linked to Dalton. That's pretty much the only person they're linked to. Will they become linked to a guy like Cam Newton? It's It's a good question. I don't know if I really see it. I would like it. I don't know if I really see it. I would sign another one. I would sign Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston would succeed. I still think he has upside. I think he's going to get better. He's got the big playability, and the Patriots will really calm him down on the turnover side there. I would go for it. I don't think he's going to be that expensive either. That's the main reason there. Prediction, I was back and forth. I really couldn't make up my mind on this one. I think they could end up going Winston. Based on what else falls. They were interested in Teddy Bridgewater, actually, so Winston could be the next choice here. Or, I think they would be interested in Nick Foles. They would have to trade for him, so I think that makes the Winston one a little more likely. But I can picture Foles playing with the Patriots and playing pretty well and them being interested. So maybe the Winston one's a little more likely because the trade has to happen for Foles. But that's interesting to see who the Patriots quarterback is going to be next year. Kind of gets you excited about to actually watch football even more. I mean, maybe not if you're a Patriots fan, but it's going to be weird. It's going to be very, very weird. I don't see them trading for Dalton. I just don't see it, but they're linked to him. And then the Dolphins, Brady could be that. There's supposed to be a sneaky team out there that Brady actually has some interest. They have some interest in Brady. It could be the Dolphins. Brian Flores is there. They have tons of cap. They're improving already. They're making this team better. And they could still draft one with that. So I would look out for that. But I haven't heard anything Dolphins. I think there's some fans that maybe kind of pushing toward. I haven't heard he's not actually linked there. I'm kind of just thinking that could be the sneaky team. But they're linked to some of the draft prospects: Tua, Herbert, Love. Who would I sign, or in this case, draft? I'll just draft Tua. If you sign Brady, you pretty much have to win now, which I wouldn't rule it out. They could, but I think it wouldn't be the greatest chances. So I think you kind of just go for future, and I'm predicting them to land Tua. But yes, another team could sneak up, trade ahead of him, get him. They could end up with Herbert or Love, perhaps. We'll do a post-free agency update, a mock, and cover the draft fully, of course. That's my thoughts on these. Let me know your guys' predictions in the comments. Please give us a like. Check out our other videos. Subscribe to this channel and our other channel. There's a link down below. Plenty of videos on there. And then follow that Twitter. It's a must-follow for pretty much any time of the year. Always covering football, always talking football on there. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.